Hello, 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 Lorenzo here, the EBHKC EllBristow HardKore Challenge. Don't know how to say these letters. We're going to Ike today. This is Duna. We put, well, that's our derelict ship. We put a flag on it in the last episode. There we have it. And before moving on, let's check. Well, this is the flag. Let's check how the flag is doing. And let's check if the ground stations actually function. They have fallen over, unfortunately, but they are receiving power. And let's see, can I actually control them somehow? No, there's no connection, but these actually have this one has rocket fuel in it. That's sort of cool. I suppose that this would have to be controlled from Kerbin, not from the orbiting ship. That could have a relay dish though. But no, well, we have a thing here. I think it also has a thermometer part. Like, let's check that out. Where is that? Yeah, look at that, a thermometer part like hidden there. No connection yet, we can't do that. But if we ever make satellites that have long-range comm dishes that can reach these, because these are functioning, they are up and running, at least I think so. Yeah, look, there's electric charge and everything. Then we can do. Contact could be re-established with these things, maybe. Not now though. They were extraneous to the core mission anyway, but it's nice to see they are on the surface and they could theoretically be operated. Now, we are in a bit of a rush because my connection is slow. The video will be SD and not too long for those very reasons, because otherwise the upload times would take far too long. So let's see about getting into orbit around Ike. Let's see. Can we get it in one go? That would be nice. Do we have to fix our inclination? We might have to fix our inclination. Let's do that first. Or at least let's see how much delta V that would add. So of course we don't want to expend too much. How much is this? 107. Well, let's try and do it without that first. By boosting from here. Does that even work? The downside, the drawback to an elliptical orbit to start from is that you can't just set up the proper burn and drag it around to get a good encounter, but look at that. This is at least resembling something decent. There's a nice low periapsis. And it even keeps us in the correct plane. We can leverage the move here to keep us nicely equatorial. I'm liking this. I'm going to go for a little bit higher because I have lost spaceships around Ike in the past by going too close to the surface. The mountains there can definitely be treacherous. Right, so 60 kilometer periapsis, that seems like a good idea. It is a modest 190 meters per second burn. Remember, we are only burning on 2 of these nuclear engines, for the reason that we're saving the other 2 for the voyage home, because we are of course working with the reliability challenge, the reliability mod DangIt. And let's have a look. We have food remaining. This here, Safe Haven, is the spaceship of the space station around Kerbin. It says it has food remaining for 58 days, but that was pulled 50 days ago. I wonder, do I now have to think like that's 8 days, or is that still 58 days? It's probably still 58 days, but we might have to go and check anyway just to make sure that Jebediah, I think, no, Jebediah is dead. Bob, I think, is in there, is actually doing okay. The mission here at hand, we have suffered some failures on the way here. We even lost some fuel, but so far here on and around Duna, things have been fine. We haven't incurred any more failures than we had en route. Of course, the time just measured in cold hard hours that we have actually spent here is relatively low. Actually, it's less than a day so far. So statistically, it's not that likely to have we aren't that likely to have a lot of failures here. But they are potentially more deadly because we'll be in small landers on the surface, and if we lose our fuel there, well, then you're not going home. So there's that. Also, Bob is all alone out here, and that means that if there's a ship that's like a little bit away that develops a fault, he won't be there to immediately fix it. Now that's a definite hazard also, because the fuel can drain frighteningly quick in that way. Now this is our fuel for the nuclear engines. It's reading as really low, but we're lightening up the ship to well, we're ditching landers and the like, so we don't have to bring as much mass with us. So here's hoping that that will prove to be enough. So coming up on the maneuver node for Ike insertion now. It seems to be really rather easy going so far, which is making me happy. Right, so the engines are on. Oh, counter thrust is also on. That's never a good idea when trying to conserve fuel. I don't know, when did that activate? Well, at some point that activated. I forgot about it. Fortunately, we got it before it burnt more than 5 units of fuel. So if we are, well, 5 units short at any point in the mission, you know who's to blame. It's me. Right. The plan for Ike is to get into this orbit, circularize, and just land on it with the lander. Just that's the plan. It's really easy. We should be able to do that, no problems. And of course, we are performing science all the way there. So let's steer to keep us on target. And then we have a long time warp ahead of us, 159 days. I think I'll save that for the next episode, because remember, we're making short episodes here, so the uploads remain possible. Have we overshot already? I think we have overshot already. Yeah, we're now coming in for a, well, a crash. There's no other way to put that, really. So let's turn around and brake just a little bit. Oh, we could use the lander engine for that, but we're already turning. Look at the nav ball, so we actually can't use the lander engine for that. But that would have been fun, wouldn't it? So the wobbling of this projected orbit, by the way, is because the ship is turning, and the game uses the, I think, the center of mass, not actually a point mass. Oh, look at that! Everything was going well. We in fact hadn't overshot at all. Now we're just making things worse. So we'll continue our little merry pirouette and resume the burn in the proper direction, which is of course and has always been prograde. Here we go. Let's raise our periapsis out of the ground. Come on. There we go. 45 seems properly decent. Now let's time warp forwards. It's 2 hours until we reach, oh, Ike Sphere of Influence. Oh, look, everything is so close. I was wondering, why is there a gap in the orbit? But that's just the celestial body itself. Everything is so nice and cute and small. So that's great. So, science time. Science time, science time, science time. Crew report. Oh, the crew is... Oh, Bob is already in the lander. Fine. Crew report. Boom. Keep the data. Then can we do a temperature scan? Do we even have a thermometer anymore? Where would we have one? Oh well. It's not the most science effective mission, this. Focusing more on flags and important things rather than thermometer readings of space. Right, okay, that's a crew report. Don't know, now that we're actually here mucking about with stuff, let's shove this full of life support just in case something happens. Alright, food in, water in, oxygen in, carbon dioxide out, out, out. Maximizing our staying power with the lander. Not that we want to stay for more than like 15 minutes, but you know, you may have no choice. So there is that. Okay, let's make a maneuver note, do this in a nice and easy route. 128 by, where do we want to land? We want to land on that side, so we can make this properly circularized. It's 138 meters per second, once again a fairly manageable amount. So bring on the time warp, let's do it. Yes, there we go, firing. Still no failures this episode, everything is going swimmingly. Really nice, really nice. And soon we will get to actually detach in the little lander that, well, I was gonna say that could, but let's be optimistic and let's call it the lander that can. It's even a lander can. Ha ha ha. Nice. If I do say so myself. Nice. I'm worried about Delta V, tremendously worried about fuel, but we will probably just make it. This is the stock solar system after all. Things are close together. Right. 60-ish kilometers sounds good. Let's do more science. Yeah, space and air Ike, wonderful. EVA report. Get it. Get inside you. Actually no. Get outside you. Retrieve the experiments and store the experiments. Yay! If you're wondering why I'm doing that, it makes the crew report stackable. By itself, the crew report is not stackable, but if you do that little trick, then you can suddenly store more than one crew report, which is nice because we want Bob's opinion on pretty much everything we do. Right, so now let's time warp until we're here at a nice... Oh, we can't time warp anymore. That's as good an argument for a landing as any. The time warp doesn't work anymore. This feels like a nice little landing trajectory, I feel. So let's get him. He's already in the lander actually. Let's get him. Oh, something happened. Ooh, achieve orbit around Ike happened. That's good. Not a failure. Look, most of these tanks are empty. In fact, are all of them empty? Not all of them are empty. Let's fill up. No, don't want the solar cell, I want the fuel tank. Yeah, filling it up. Great. And decoupling. At least, where's the couplers? Here's the couplers. Undock. And switch to it. Yay. Look at that. Is that a lander or what? You may wonder why it has parachutes. And that's because this is the capsule that's going to land back at Kerbin in a million years from now. That is not what we're worried about today. Yeah, that black bit, are we gonna land there? Seems as good a place as any to me. So we have 66 meters per second to get rid of. Wait, if this is the landing capsule, that means we're gonna have to take it home. Oh shit. I want to minimize the stuff I take home. But we can detach. Yeah, we can detach this bit. That just means that we're crashing the whole mothership in Kerbin's atmosphere. I was thinking if we lug this little propulsion unit back to Kerbin, then we can, well, independently re-enter. But that does mean that we have to lug it back to Kerbin, and Delta V is apparently a problem, so we're just going to crash the whole nuclear tow thing into Kerbin's atmosphere, because why not? I mean, we can. It's not like Kerbin is populated or anything. And if it was, it's probably populated by assholes. So, okay, landing trajectory established. Let's go. Ooh, flickering heads-up display. Something is up. Something is definitely up. I don't know what. Something horrible is happening. I'm going to quick save and quick load. Because that flickering, I don't think that's entirely normal. Right. I hope this kind of quick save and loading is not prohibited by the rules. I had never seen the HUD flickering thing before, but now it's fortunately fixed. So, oh wait, we have speed to get rid of still. Let's do that. Actually, we are still more than 3 kilometers high. That's good, but I think this is as good a place as any to land, so let's get rid of some lateral velocity. This in and of itself is not inefficient because I'm burning purely horizontal, and the lateral velocity has to go anyway. If I were to point retrograde now, that would in fact be getting rid of vertical velocity. That would be more inefficient than doing it at a suicide point. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, don't worry. You're just not going to be a rocket engineer. Right. Now we're going pretty much straight down at 140 meters per second. Oh, our fuel is almost gone. Well, it's not almost gone, but I'm reminded that this fuel tank is actually tiny. So we may want to be a little bit careful. We do in fact have to rendezvous again to get Bob home. Hey, after this he can go home, in fact. That's nice. So it's 3 kilometers here. We're going at 170 meters per second. I'm confident we can get rid of that in 15 seconds. That's maybe a little bit fast. Let's reduce that to 100. That would give us, back of the envelope, 30 seconds to slow down from 3 kilometers. Actually more. Oh, but now we are at 3 kilometers, so let's slow down to 50. Ike has freakishly high terrain, very high above the zero line on the altitude indicator. So you have to be a little bit careful, and fortunately that internal altimeter helps with that. We're at 1200 meters now. Unfortunately, this small lander is just a dream to handle. Let's see, do we have enough resources? Yeah, we have plenty of resources. It's just a dream to handle because it decelerates so quickly and it's just nimble and nice. And you can get away with that because Ike is just tiny. The orbital velocities are very low. So you don't need a huge honking rocket to get back into orbit. And that means you get to land with a small rocket. And that means everything gets to be small and everyone gets to be happy. So there is actually the matter of fine-tuning the landing. I mean, all that nice talk doesn't do any good if you end up crashing anyway. But there we go. That seems to be a picture-perfect landing. Right, science time then. Crew report landed from Ike's surface. EVA report. Let's get that done. In space near Ike. Wonderful. Let's retrieve the data. Store the data. And now let's get some reports from... Well, let's do the flag anyway. That's bonus objective completed. That's flags on Ike and Duna and Kerbin's North Pole. Now all we have to do is get the science tree done. Challenge accepted and completed. Wonderful. That's a boastful flag. If anyone ever comes after that, he will scratch his head and wonder about the childish fun that Bob Kerman had here. Yeah, overwrite that report. Get it. Okay, let's jet back into the lander. I mean, the Apollo... Ooh, we must take slight care not to knock over our lander. That would be fairly embarrassing. Oh, what's happening here? Oh no, 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 no. The whole mission could be ruined by a knocked over lander and a erroneous ragdoll physics. Or careless Kerbals. Careless Kerbals. With a capital K. There we go. Enter the pod. Yay. I've completely lost track of what I was trying to say, but, well, suffice it to say that we are heading back into space. Let's get rid of this maneuver node. Oh, we can't. It's that maneuver node. Anyway, we're gonna go in a tight orbit. A 90-degree orbit, even. Bye-bye, Ike. Oh, yeah, the Apollo astronauts, they stayed for a while. We're not doing anything crazy like that. We're just, oh, look at that, we can... Might we catch up with that in a straight line? That's probably inadvisable. How fast do we have to go? We better, I think we best focus on attaining orbit because the fuel is running pretty darn low. But hey, it just happens to be that burning straight at them is what we need for an orbit. Yeah, 30 kilometers, that's probably safe. Let's make it 35 just to be extra safe. And then circularize from here. Oh, it's actually super important that we do rendezvous with this guy and not the other ship, because, well, there's no remote controlling it. If we get close, we could finish the job with the EVA suit, but then that would of course mean ditching the ride home, which is a problem as you might imagine. So if we just make orbit here, we're just out of an easy rendezvous. However, 56 kilometers seems workable. We will make that we will make that the best approach we can, and then fix it from there. Should be able to do that. 56 meters per second from here. And from here, I mean the point in time 7 minutes from now. Yeah, from a 56 kilometer separation, we should be able to make rendezvous at least with the Kerbal. If I recall correctly, the maneuver suit has a couple of 100 meters per second of delta V all on its own, and well, worst case scenario, that means no re-entry vehicle for Kerbin, and that just means we have to send one up, and that we can do. So, burning for them. At least we're in orbit around Ike. We're not going to crash and burn, at least not immediately. So this is now 58 kilometers. Yeah, 58 kilometers is going to be the closest approach. And then what's gonna happen? Then afterwards we're just gonna keep on overtaking it, because we are in the lower orbit. So next time it's gonna be 48 kilometers. Unless we manage to... Look, if we do a slight burn here... This is just 10. That's wonderful. And that's... how many hours away? Half an hour. Our life support is not in any jeopardy yet. So let's do that. We might be able to do it neatly for just this once. 5 minutes from now, this is a very boring area because it's so dark here. Look at that, I'm doing a rendezvous using proper orbital mechanics, not brute forcing because we have all the fuel in the world. No, no, no. Meters per second at the opposite side of the orbit, not twice 100 meters per second just to boost close. 10.5 kilometers, and that's where we can do the brute force thing. Yeah, there it's 20 again. So we can't do any more time warp, so that's a problem. But hey, look at that. Relative velocity only dozens of meters per second instead of kilometers per second. Here we go. Let's make it neat, because we do have to dock with these guys, if at all possible. So, zeroing out the speed. So, let's point at them and burn some of the fuel, like 3 units. Going now not by the nav ball, but by the fuel tank indicator. And that's always a sign that, you know, your mission has been executed to within the planned parameters, and there's not that much leeway. We're lucky now that this tank hasn't sprung a leak. I thought we would have required a little bit less delta V to get down and up again from Ike, but hey, you know, it is what it is. And well, everything seems to be going well. back in range of the Duna service module. Absolute worst thing that could happen now is that this thing now springs a leak, because that would mean that it gets to leak away all the fuel, and we're not there to fix it. So please don't break in the next 1 minute. So let's get rid of these 40 meters per second. Alright, that's point. We are really flying on fumes here, but it doesn't matter. We will get there. We will get there. Probably. Although the possibility that we might really have to EVA, which I reiterate is not a problem in and of itself, but it just would be nice to bring a parachute capable thing home. It would be nice, that's all. So let's slow down. How much do we have? 2 units of fuel. I wonder. I don't dare call it yet. Let's go 10 meters per second. We just need to get really close, then stop and do it. You see, that's all there is to it. And of course, with more patience, I could have been more fuel efficient, but you know, screw that. Okay, how much do we have now? 0.6. That's actually really low. 0.6 really isn't a lot. Okay, now it's time for fuel efficient patience. Okay, fire. How much is there now? Again, still 0.6. Okay, so that was really efficient. Now we're just gonna wait until we coast in front of the docking port, and then we're going to reverse thrust, stop, turn, dock. Sounds like a plan? I think it does. See, this is where it gets really boring. I would have wanted this trajectory to be a little bit faster, but well, we really don't have the fuel at this point. And this is also the moment where I realized that this actually, yeah, has parachutes of its own. I just forgot. But I don't think it did. Because if it did, I forgot. Okay, we're completely stopped now. I ran out of patience. And now we're going to try a nice crooked docking approach. Ooh, 0.7 meters per second. That's too fast. We're now at 0.5 fuel. So we can try this. Try the ram intercept approach, and if it fails we might even try again, because we have half a unit of fuel left. Oh my god. Do we need a course correction? We might need a course correction. That's a course correction. But yeah, we crashed into it. Okay. Blip of fuel that way. Alright. Oh no, the service module is drifting. Blip of fuel that way. We need to catch up with the drift now. So this is suddenly turned into hard mode. Okay, let's slow down. Let's aim at it now. And dock. Oh yeah! How much fuel is there in the tank? Care to hazard a guess? 0.19 fuels. Well, we will be sure to siphon them because, you know, we're frugal. And did this thing... Yeah, this thing has parachutes as well. We don't need it. I don't know why this thing has parachutes then. Oh well. That means we're not gonna bring it home. This is a pod. This is a pod. It has parachutes. This is a decoupler. It can decouple. This thing, I forgot why I made it like that. I might regret it, but I'm going to leave it behind. I need to take all the data. Because, you know, we're starved for Delta V. At least in my mind we are. And now starts the long wait until we can properly go home. Right, on board, dump experiments, because of course we had them already. Right, let's actually take aboard the life support. Oh no, do we have to like grab. Okay, these pylons are remaining. Oh god. Do we have to now like divide the stuff? I don't think we're starved. Oh, look at that. They all fit in there easily. Wonderful. Alright, that's Ike. We have all the science in there. We have 22 science reports in this capsule. It's getting crowded. We did Ike. Now we're going home to Kerbin, but not in this episode because I have a feeling it's been too long already and now I'm going to have a headache uploading it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check back next video where we will attempt to get home and possibly resupply the safe haven because, hey, you know, they're running out. See you later. I'm Lorenzo.